Economic Council of German government believes that most likely expected slowdown in economy due to ongoing situation of coronavirus may last until end of the third quarter or end of the summer, which runs from June to September. If health restrictions prevail beyond the summer, then government expects that recovery can only be set beginning of the next year. Experts believe that the impact on each country is highly dependent on how the governments of each country will react individually and how the government is prepared and how the governments will deal with the crisis situation at the country level. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Sandeep Khera and you're watching Conical Education. Today I'm going to talk about how this corona situation can impact economy in Germany. Is any kind of recession expected in 2020 after the pandemic situation gets over? Are there any job cuts expected due to the ongoing situation? What are the plans and indication from the government to deal with the upcoming economic crisis situation in 2020? And in the last, I will speak about what is Kurzarbeit. So stay tuned, watch the video till the end. Please subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on my social media pages such as Instagram, Facebook page, Facebook group, Telegram group. All of them are mentioned in the description below. You can also write to me on the below given email address. So let's dive into today's video. As most of you are aware what recession is, so I will directly go into types of recession. Experts are nowadays mentioning there are two types of recession. One which comes from the supply side and there is another one which comes from the demand side. Now let us first understand what is supply side recession. Suppose companies are working to deliver their products and services and goods in the market. There is a customer in the market, there is a buyer in the market and they want to buy your products. But suddenly supply plug has been pulled off and raw materials required to deliver or items required to manufacture or some other goods which are important for the delivery are stopped from the supplier side and you cannot deliver your services and products or manufactured goods to the customer. Now let us understand what is demand side recession. Suppose companies and organizations are ready to work, they want to deliver their products and services to the market, but the problem is there is no buyer or customer in the market. Due to this reason, inventories get piled up and manufacturers start getting into debt and they start getting into losses because they have to maintain their operating costs, they have to pay salaries to the employees and they have to settle their other bills. So this recession, which is expected in 2020 in third and fourth quarters, is definitely coming from the supply side because supply of the companies has been stopped due to such a pandemic situation across the world. The recession which we went through in 2008 was originated from the demand side. So this is the reason situation right now is completely different from the situation which had happened in 2008. It is easier to recover from the supply side recession provided government has the funds, government has the liquidity, banks have the fund, banks have the liquidity to serve to the organization, to provide the loans, to push the money in the market after this pandemic situation gets over. That is why experts are expecting it will be easier to recover from this recession due to availability of liquidity in the market. Plus German government has announced new fiscal policies, there will be new tax breaks and there will be support to the employers to reduce the job cuts in the market. Which are the impacted sectors? As you all know, airlines, hospitality, tourism and manufacturing, all of them came to halt suddenly. But there is a good news for those who are working into IT, e-commerce, telecom, healthcare and retail. These sectors are good to keep their jobs in 2020. Financial Times reported recently that big tech companies are going to hire massively or some of them have already started the hiring process to gear up for the world shifting towards being digital due to coronavirus. Job cuts and the hiring process. Definitely sectors which are heavily impacted, in them you will observe high rate of job cuts as compared to other least impacted sectors. Hiring process will also be on hold in the highly impacted sectors as well as in the least impacted sectors. But the good news about least impacted sectors is that the hiring will resume again after a period of 3 to 6 months when things are normalized, health situation is normalized in the country as well as outside the country. So you can still plan your move to Germany after 3 to 6 months if you are already planning for that. In case you are working into IT, e-commerce, telecom, retail and some other related sectors. But for highly impacted sectors, experts believe that hiring in the highly impacted sectors will resume only after health situation start to get normalized or gets normalized in most of the countries. Supply chain gets revived and demand starts to come from inside as well as outside the country. Is German government prepared for the slowdown in 2020? Yes, the government has already announced their plans. One of the major announcements done by the government is the Kurzarbeit. In the Kurzarbeit, employers are promoted not to do the job cuts. Instead, they can reduce the number of working hours for the employees. For example, if you are working 40 hours a week, employer will tell you that you will be working 30 hours a week. Or you are working 5 days a week, you might be working 3 to 4 days a week. An employer is expected to pay you the salary only for the number of working hours you have worked in that week or in the month. But you should not be worried as employee because you are protected by the government under this Kurzarbeit scheme. First, you will not lose the job. So that's a win-win situation for you. Second, the number of hours that you have not worked for during Kurzarbeit will still be paid by the government up to 60 or 67% depending on your family situation. So in that sense, it's not going to reduce your salary drastically, plus saves your job. It's a great idea to reduce the job cuts and a way not to have sharp rise in the unemployment rate. Other announcements from the government of Germany. Largest ever supplementary budget for the emergencies, which is 156 billion euros. Government has announced 50 billion euros to support the small businesses. Government has also announced extra cash for the hospitals. Money will be introduced into the economy for the lost tax revenues. Considering all these measures announced by the government, planned by the government, along with the organizations, experts are hopeful that economy will revive by September 2020. And there will be boost to the job market by that time. So finally, I want to say who are planning to migrate to Germany in 2020, they can still plan if they are working in the least impacted sectors which I mentioned earlier. For those who are working into highly impacted sectors, they can plan their move to Germany after 2020 because finally the economy will come back. This is all I have in today's video. Please give a thumbs up below, subscribe to the channel and share the video. Have a good day.